A single rumor can spark an inferno, and for Aisha Curry, swirling controversies and mounting legal battles threatened to burn down the seemingly perfect image she worked so hard to build. How did one of the NBA's most admired spouses end up on the brink of scandal after scandal, possibly facing a life-altering sentence that might drive her from the spotlight for good? The answers, as you'll see, are far more complicated than anyone ever imagined. No one ever expects a perfect love story to come crashing down, especially when it's been displayed in the public eye as a shining example of devotion. Yet whispers suggest that behind the smooth veneer of Aisha Curry's life, from her fairy tale marriage to Steph Curry to her thriving culinary empire, a series of hidden struggles has been mounting. Could it be that everything we once admired is on the brink of collapse? Rumors of major legal setbacks, swirling accusations, and the finality of a staggering court decision suggest that Aisha's life may never be the same. How did one of the most admired NBA spouses and budding entrepreneurs get caught in a storm so fierce that it might drive her from the public eye for good? The answers, as we'll see, are far from simple. From the moment the public met Aisha Curry, she represented everything that looked flawless and heartwarming. Standing beside Steph Curry, the Golden State Warriors star whose dazzling three-pointers and humble persona made him a global icon, Aisha appeared to be living a real-life storybook fantasy. They met as teenagers, reconnected in Los Angeles years later, and formed a partnership that seemed destined to conquer every challenge. Her early YouTube videos carried an infectious warmth and approachability that quickly drew viewers in. As Steph's fame soared, Aisha launched a successful cookbook, opened restaurants, and created her very own lifestyle brand. Their social media posts glowed with happiness. Adorable kids in matching outfits, supportive shots of Steph courtside, and glimpses of the lavish yet grounded family life they led. Everything about them said, "Here's a couple who has it all." Critics pointed to their obvious closeness, their mutual faith, and the ease with which they integrated work, family, and personal dreams. In a world of celebrity breakups and dramatic downfalls, the Currys looked like they'd be the exception, unshakable. Little did the public know that the cracks were already forming beneath that glossy exterior. But that wasn't the whole story. While countless fans believed that what they saw on social media was the only truth, behind the scenes, forces far beyond Aisha's control were closing in. Controversies that stretched from the basketball court to the boardroom, from Hollywood to the bustling streets of Paris, and eventually right into the court system. And it all began with a rumor so jarring that it threatened to upend Aisha's sense of security. Long before legal battles crowded the headlines, Aisha's life turned upside down when rumors surfaced about Steph being unfaithful. An Instagram model's unverified claims sparked a wildfire on social media, painting the NBA's golden couple as a relationship in crisis. Fans, gossip columns, and online commentators latched onto the idea with astounding speed. For a woman who'd built her public persona on the virtues of faith and family, it was a gut punch she never saw coming. Publicly, she tried to project confidence. Privately, she grappled with two overwhelming fears: that the rumors might hold an inkling of truth, and that the public's hunger for controversy might warp the most cherished parts of her life. She had barely announced her pregnancy with their third child when the swirl of accusations erupted online, demanding that she address something she believed to be baseless and hurtful. Day after day, new speculations emerged, some stoking doubts about Steph's loyalty, others mocking Aisha for putting on a clueless act. For a while, it was a lose-lose situation. Addressing the rumors seemed to add fuel to the fire, allowing critics to dissect every word she spoke. Ignoring them, however, felt impossible. The gossip was building a narrative that threatened her marriage's public image, if not its private foundation. Eventually, she decided to speak out, revealing on a talk show how deeply the swirling commentary affected her self-esteem. But her honesty was quickly twisted into clickbait headlines. Aisha Curry needs other men to notice her, or Aisha insecure in her own marriage. It was a no-win scenario that left her more frustrated and misunderstood than ever. Little did she know, though, that the next controversies wouldn't be whispers. They'd be legal, public, and far more damaging than a mere rumor. While those cheating allegations chipped away at her emotional strength, the real bombshell was poised to strike from a completely different angle. While Steph Curry dazzled fans on the court, he also delved into the fast-rising world of cryptocurrency. At first, it looked like a brilliant move, partnering with big-name exchanges, launching NFT collections, and capitalizing on the future of digital assets. Few realized how quickly that future could turn dark. When FTX, one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges, suddenly imploded under accusations of financial misconduct, the fallout was enormous. Celebrities who had partnered with FTX, Steph Curry included, found themselves named in lawsuits from disgruntled investors. Accusations flew that these public figures had promoted a sham. The public wanted accountability, and many believed these high-profile endorsements lent FTX a credibility it didn't deserve. Steph, whose brand image was practically untarnished until then, was suddenly under a glaring spotlight of suspicion. For Aisha, who prided herself on keeping a thoughtful distance from questionable business ventures, the association was deeply unsettling. Her husband, typically lauded for his trustworthiness, was now a central figure in a multi-billion-dollar fiasco. And when the tide of public outrage rose, she couldn't help but feel it splashing into her own world. Critics wondered aloud if Aisha had benefited from Steph's crypto involvement. Was she also reaping gains from a marketplace that later toppled so catastrophically? But that was only the start. Another lawsuit quickly followed, this time involving top celebrities who had promoted Bored Ape NFTs. Together with Steph, household names like Madonna, Paris Hilton, and Justin Bieber were accused of inflating NFT prices without disclosing their own financial interests. Almost overnight, the Currys found themselves woven into a scandal-laden narrative of shady promotions and questionable ethics. As the scandal broke, Aisha kept her composure in public. Any frustration or anxiety she felt was overshadowed by her instinct to protect her family's reputation. After all, it was Steph's name on these lawsuits, but the brand they had built, this carefully cultivated image, was at stake. Yet, what followed wasn't just about Steph. It was time for Aisha to face her own legal reckoning, and it arrived in a way she never expected. While media chatter centered on Steph's crypto controversies, Aisha found herself thrown into a legal battle that called her entrepreneurial success into question. Flutie Entertainment, a celebrity branding company that once helped carve out Aisha's culinary and lifestyle empire, filed a $10 million lawsuit against her. Their claim? That after investing time, resources, and marketing muscle to elevate her career from YouTube food vlogger to Food Network personality and beyond, she had essentially locked them out of the very businesses they helped create. From her cooking shows to her best-selling cookbook and well-received restaurants, Flutie Entertainment contended that they'd been the catalyst behind Aisha's rise. According to the lawsuit, they had mapped out strategies, landed her high-profile gigs, and shaped her public persona into a household brand. Yet, when she terminated their contract, they claimed she breached their agreement by cutting them out of the profits and even poaching one of their top employees. For Aisha, the lawsuit felt like a betrayal. She had worked tirelessly to refine her cooking craft, perfect her recipes, and engage directly with fans. Yes, the partnership with Flutie had been beneficial, but in her eyes, her own late nights over recipe books and her personal flair in front of the camera weren't mere side notes. She believed her success was more than just a manufactured outcome of strategic branding. Still, the lawsuit threatened her finances and her credibility. Would the court see her as a talented, hard-working chef-turned-entrepreneur, or as a figurehead shaped and packaged by a corporate machine? Beyond the legal argument, the emotional toll on Aisha was profound. She was trying to maintain an upbeat public presence, sharing cooking videos, motivational posts, and updates about her family. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, she navigated depositions, legal counsel meetings, and a swirl of anxiety that occasionally left her sleepless. Every day carried the weight of uncertain outcomes, crippling financial penalties, or public reputational damage. Little by little, the pressure was beginning to show. Though she aimed to keep a confident exterior, her next public incident would reveal just how raw her emotions had become. Not long after the lawsuits took center stage, Aisha Curry found herself in the middle of an unexpected confrontation that played out on an international stage. Steph was representing Team USA in the 2024 Paris Olympics, chasing a dream he'd never experienced during his famed career. All eyes were on him as he showcased his sharpshooting skills against the world's best. Yet, after winning gold, it wasn't a jubilant family moment that grabbed headlines, but a tense run-in with Parisian police. That day, Aisha was walking with her newborn son, Kai-san, alongside Steph's mother, Sonia Curry, Steph's 6-year-old son, Cannon, and family friend, Draymond Green. They were calm, savoring the afterglow of another Curry milestone. Without warning, they were stopped by French police enforcing a security blockade. At first, it was an inconvenience, something that could be resolved with polite discussion. Then, in the blink of an eye, an officer reached out and touched baby Kai-san's head. It was a simple motion, but one that sent shockwaves through Aisha. Suddenly, Sonia Curry raised her voice in anger. Draymond Green, not one to mince words, demanded an explanation. In the midst of it all, Aisha stood there, eyes brimming with tears, her protective instincts fully triggered. By the time they were allowed to leave, the energy had shifted from triumphant celebration to stunned outrage. In countless viral clips, one could see Aisha wiping her face, her composure hanging by a thread, as the group walked away. For the public, that moment was revealing. It showcased Aisha's vulnerability. Under the strain of lawsuits, rumors, and perpetual scrutiny, even a brief altercation could unleash a flood of pent-up tension. Was this the turning point when the world began to see that Aisha's life, far from perfect, was increasingly marked by stress and upheaval? Perhaps. But it wasn't the last blow she faced, not by a long shot. Just as the Paris incident began to fade from headlines, another story emerged, casting a fresh spotlight on Aisha. 4 years after its launch, she suddenly decided to close her Sweet July store in Oakland. What began as a space celebrating community, lifestyle, and good food abruptly ended with an announcement citing safety concerns as the primary reason. Initially, supporters expressed understanding. They knew that Oakland, like many cities, grappled with its share of crime and unrest. Yet within days, local residents and business owners voiced skepticism. Statistics showed crime rates had dipped in the area, they argued, and they questioned whether the closure was truly about safety or if it was driven by lackluster sales and rising operational costs. The backlash was fierce. Critics accused Aisha of pushing a narrative that painted Oakland as perpetually dangerous. She was called out for moving her brand's focus to places like Santa Monica, where she opened another cafe and a luxury hotel. Loyal fans defended her, insisting that a mother of 3 had every right to prioritize safety for her employees and customers. Still, the local frustration was palpable. Had Aisha, once championed as a community builder, simply outgrown the neighborhood that helped catapult her lifestyle brand? It wasn't a question Aisha answered directly. As always, her public posture remained calm. To those close to her, it was one more heartbreak in a year full of them. An exhausting necessity, not a cavalier decision. But the controversies surrounding her store's closure weren't the biggest headline. Behind the scenes, a far more crushing outcome was taking shape. A rumored court decision that would dwarf anything else, financially and emotionally. When it first hit the rumor mill that Aisha Curry might be staring down a multi-million-dollar payout to Flutie Entertainment, many scoffed at the notion. No way, they said, she's too smart for that. But as days turned to weeks, a consistent buzz started emerging from circles close to the Curry family. Insiders whispered that the lawsuit had reached an end, and it was not in Aisha's favor. Speculation ran wild. Some claimed she'd been spotted near the courthouse dressed in an orange jumpsuit, flanked by officers. Others insisted that Steph looked deeply shaken, standing by her side, unwilling to abandon his wife in her darkest hour. The question on everyone's lips became, was the once effervescent Aisha Curry now on the brink of a massive financial hit that could cripple her business ambitions? Or worse, was she actually facing something more severe? According to those same insiders, the final settlement might require her to pay $10 million. An astronomical figure for most, but perhaps just within reach for someone who co-manages a household of substantial celebrity wealth. Yet for Aisha, it wouldn't just be about the money. Such a ruling would chip away at the narrative she'd carefully crafted, that of a self-made entrepreneur whose skill and personality stood apart from her husband's basketball stardom. Whispers also hinted at another devastating possibility, that this high-pressure legal fight might push Aisha out of the public eye altogether. Some believe she's considering a full retreat. No more shows, no more promotional appearances, and minimal social media presence beyond family updates. For a person who built her brand on relatability and openness, the prospect of stepping back seems both tragic and somewhat understandable. In the end, what does all of this mean for Aisha Curry, the woman who once stood proudly on her own 2 feet, stirring pots in her kitchen and winning hearts across the nation? Could she truly vanish from the spotlight she once embraced? With rumors swirling about heavy legal penalties, the closure of cherished business ventures, and emotional scenes that show just how vulnerable she's become, one can't help but wonder if we're witnessing the end of Aisha's public journey, or if she's gearing up for a surprising comeback. The truth, as always, is more complex than any single headline can capture. Aisha's life is woven with hope, ambition, and a desire to protect what matters most: her family. Even as allegations, lawsuits, and controversies threaten to overwhelm her, there's the undeniable possibility that she'll rebuild. After all, this isn't the first time the Currys have faced tests of faith and resilience. Whatever lies ahead, one thing is certain. We're all watching to see if Aisha Curry can transform her greatest challenges into a story of renewal, or if she'll choose a quieter, more private life, away from the glare of cameras and the constant rumble of public opinion. Will the rumored court decision be the tipping point that forces her hand? Or is there still time for Aisha to reclaim her narrative and continue building the empire she once dreamed of? Only she knows, and perhaps only time will tell. Perhaps only time.